The following content is for entertainment purposes only. But hey, if it's not true, then why did YouTube shadow ban me? Listen to me, guys, and listen close, because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of thing they don't want you thinking about. Randy Savage didn't just drop dead from some freak heart attack while driving. Yeah, that's the fairy tale that they fed you, but the reality, the real story, it's so much darker. So much more sinister. And it all ties back to one thing. Control. Because let me tell you something. If you think Vince McMahon, the billionaire puppet master of professional wrestling, the man who has manipulated, blackballed, and buried talent for decades, just happened to let Randy Savage quietly live out his days in peace, if you think Savage, a guy who refused to play by Vince's rules, who was banned from WWE for nearly 2 decades, just coincidentally died at the perfect time for WWE to make money off of his name, then I have a bridge to sell you. Savage's death was a blood sacrifice. And before you roll your eyes, before you say that's too far, just look at the pattern, the timing. This is how the entertainment industry works. This is how the machine stays in power. People at the top don't just die. They get removed when it benefits the system. And what was happening in 2011? WWE was gearing up for the biggest business move in its history. The WWE Network. They needed content. They needed legends. And they needed Savage's name back in their hands. But Savage wasn't just going to come crawling back to Vince like all the other sellouts. He was done with WWE. He had no interest in being their nostalgia act, no interest in letting Vince rewrite his legacy. So what did they do? He dies out of nowhere. Heart failure. No autopsy, no deep dive, no real questions asked. Just a smooth, clean story. Oh, his heart just gave out. Nothing to see here. Move along. His car doesn't even crash into anything serious. Just rolls gently into a tree. His wife walks away unscathed. Everything about it is too perfect. Too clean. And what happens immediately after? WWE puts him back on TV, rolls out tribute packages, starts selling his merch, and begins rebranding him as one of their legends again. And then boom, a few years later, the WWE Network launches, and who's one of their biggest selling points? Macho Man Randy Savage. They made millions off of him after spending 2 decades pretending he didn't exist. And why was he erased in the first place? Let's talk about the thing that no one in the industry wants to touch. The Stephanie McMahon rumors. For years, whispers have circulated that Randy Savage had a relationship with Stephanie when she was underage. And let me tell you something. Vince McMahon controls everything about his company's history. If this rumor was false, don't you think he would have shut it down immediately? Don't you think he would have sued anyone who even brought it up? But instead, he goes radio silent. Instead, Savage is erased like he never existed. Vince McMahon, a man who will put anyone in the Hall of Fame if there's money to be made, refused to even acknowledge Savage for decades. That doesn't happen unless there's something serious that they can't afford to have come to light. So let's connect the dots. If Savage really had something on Stephanie, if he really knew something that Vince could never let the world find out about, then his very existence was a threat. And threats to Vince McMahon don't just get ignored. They get eliminated. And what better way to eliminate Savage than at the perfect time for WWE to cash in? And let's not ignore the bigger picture here. This wasn't just about Savage. This is how the entire system works. Look at Hollywood. Look at the music industry. Look at sports. Whenever a major corporation is on the verge of a big business move, someone dies. Michael Jackson, killed right before he could regain control of his music catalog. Kobe Bryant dies just as he's breaking out of NBA's control and building his own empire. Chris Benoit, textbook case of murder that makes no sense when you actually start asking the real questions. And Savage, he dies just when WWE needs him back. Just when it benefits their bottom line. This is what I'm telling you. Nothing in this business happens by accident. Nothing. And it goes beyond wrestling. This is the entertainment industry as a whole. This is the same Hollywood, WWE, Illuminati, deep state network that keeps the machine running. It's the same reason guys like The Rock and John Cena can suddenly become massive Hollywood stars overnight. It's not because they're talented. It's because they play by the rules. They do what they're told. But Savage was never one of them. He was a rebel. He walked away from the business on his terms. He didn't let Vince own him. He didn't let the machine rewrite his history, his story. And that made him dangerous. Because the moment you're no longer useful to the system, the moment you won't play by their rules, you become a liability. And liabilities get taken out. So let me ask you again. Do you really think Savage just died out of nowhere? Do you really believe the official story? Or do you see what's really happening? Because this wasn't an accident. This wasn't just another wrestling tragedy. This was a removal. A blood sacrifice. A power move made by the industry to regain control over a man they could never fully own. And now, in death, WWE profits off of him more than ever before. So tell me, who really won?